Good morning and welcome to the online training for Joomla. My name is Kabeer and I'm very pleased to be your instructor today. I'm a very seasoned IT professional and have been working in information technology since last 12 years. I've never experienced something like Joomla CMS before and have now decided to share my experience with the community and hence this training. The purpose of this training is to understand how Joomla works, its complete process flow, and how it can be easily used for a rapid website development. So we'll first start by understanding what is Joomla, its installation, and we'll gradually take a deep dive towards understanding further components. I hope you will enjoy learning from these tutorials as much as I have enjoyed in working on Joomla. Alright, so let's get started. Just a quick note to the viewers and participants. The following presentation is intended for information and demonstration purposes only. It is not a commitment to deliver any services or paid trainings. This training and the material used in it have been developed by myself, hence no copying, reuse or its reproduction without my prior permission is authorized. For more information, please contact me at info@aclnz.com. And thanks for understanding. A quick introduction to myself. As I said, I've got 12 years of IT experience, mostly involving Oracle technologies, but of late I've started learning the web development side of the things, especially with Joomla content management system. How it so started was I wanted to develop a website, and then I was going around and asking a couple of folks as to the cost of developing a website, and I was given astronomical figures for developing a professional looking website. And that's where I started searching in the internet and came across a couple of tools, but I like Joomla because of its features and because of its power. And when I started learning, I simply kept learning as I gradually realized its power, and it kept me uh, to learn more and more. At the end of my learning, I ended up in developing 3 websites using Joomla, and you won't believe all the 3 websites have been developed without a single line of myself doing the programming. Absolutely no programming I've done it. It's simply like assembling a number of pieces together and simply posting it on internet. I'm so impressed by this tool that I simply want to give back to the community now and share my experiences with you. Finally, I would really appreciate if you could give a thumbs up on YouTube if you like this course. Alright, so having said that, let's proceed further. The agenda of this course is a brief course introduction. I will walk you through the course contents and then detailed contents of the course, which is divided into 2 modules. They are not small modules, they are big module in itself, and basically covers a number of hours of training on Joomla. Finally, the outcome at the end of module 2 is a professional looking website, and I'm pretty sure the way I'm gonna go teaching you this stuff, you will pick up as fast as I have picked up while learning Joomla. And then at the end of this class, we will also see what's the next class which is following up. That said, let's proceed. Course introduction. This course includes 2 modules in total. Module 1, wherein I will show you how to install, set up, patch and configure Joomla 2.5. At this moment, Joomla 2.5 is the latest version of Joomla, hence I've decided to take up that, so that by the time you guys learn there may be another version of Joomla that may come up, and then you can easily drill out onto that. But Joomla 2.5 is recently released, so I believe it may be a couple of months or maybe a year before the new Joomla version will get released. So once we do that, once we install and set up Joomla, I will walk you through the Joomla concepts. There are a number of things you need to understand for you to successfully make a website. So we'll be taking them one by one, and I will be explaining through each of them. My idea of teaching, or the way I teach, is not just theoretical. I don't like that. I want to give real life examples, or I go with scenarios and practical hands-on approach. So while am I going to teach you that, we will be simultaneously developing a website to get a hands-on experience, and while you're learning the course, you can also develop a website simultaneously on your computer. That way it's not just learning but also experience of doing it yourself, and when you do something yourself, it's the highest amount of learning. That's what I believe. So after learning the Joomla concepts, module 2 will talk about more of building a professional website. Being a software background, I'm very familiar with software development lifecycle. So my way of developing a professional website is right from starting the planning phase, and I will take you through the entire software development lifecycle, right from planning, requirements gathering, definition to elaboration, build phase, testing, and finally going live. It might sound a little silly that a website may not involve so many phases, but that's not the case. A professional looking website indeed involves a complete software development life cycle. We are not talking about a 4 pages website, we are talking about a professional looking website which generates a business. Hence we need to understand every phase of software development life cycle. Who knows, after learning Joomla, as I got impressed, maybe you might take it as a profession of developing websites using Joomla. So it might simply add to your success if you know the complete life cycle. Having said that, we will quickly have a look now at the detailed topics in both these module 1 and module 2. Don't get simply bogged down by the number of topics that I will show. Perhaps at this point of time you may not understand what each of the topic means, but still I simply wanted to show you to get your understanding that there are a number of things that we'll be going through during this entire course. So starting with module 1, if you see, I will start with an introduction to Joomla. I will assume that you don't have any knowledge of Joomla at all. So I will start with basic fundamental right from scratch of what is the Joomla definition. And if you are coming from an IT background, then it will be useful. The second topic, I will have a brief discussion on the technical architecture of the entire Joomla CMS. But if you are not, don't worry about that. You can simply listen to that, but if you don't understand, that's still fine, and you can later come back to that and view it again, but it won't impact your learning process in the entire course. This is just an FYI for your information, the technical architecture, but you don't need to have the detailed knowledge of that. Then we'll understand how to install. So I will just briefly tell you what's the process flow for installing the entire Joomla, which includes a number of components which is shown in the next step. So after showing the installation process flow, you would know how to proceed, and then we'll do the actual installation in the system. Okay, which we'll start with those number of components which are written out there, like Xmap, then the actual Joomla 2.5, and finally we'll finish off with a sample database wherein we can play around and develop a demo website to start with. We will then go into understanding the navigation in Joomla front end, and exploring the sample data. You need to understand the sample data because that's what we'll be playing with in module 1, and that's what makes uh, a lot of difference, because all the rest of the topics, if you see, which are listed on the right hand side, will be actually discussed in the context of sample data. So the examples that I will be giving you, we will be using that sample data which will form a sample website, and hence we will easily able to digest all this information gradually. Okay, then we will, once we understand the sample front end in other words, it's website. What you see, the website is also called as front end. Okay, the backend side is nothing but the administration side, wherein the new web pages are developed, then they are published, and once they are published, then they can be viewed on the website, or in other words, on the front end. So front end forms the front part, which is viewable to the people, but back end part is not viewable to everyone except the technical folks or people like you who are actually working on the website. A simple example could be eBay. You go to ebay.com and you can see all the items listed out there, but on the back end, you don't know what's happening in the background. You are just using eBay as a user. So the front end there is website, but the back end you don't know anything at all, but there are a hell lot of things that go in the back end. But at this point of time, we need to understand both, because you are going to develop this website and you need to know what happens in the back end. Then we'll move on to the introduction to a number of things, which will start with a basic editor. Then I will walk you through a number of things like what are categories, what a category manager, what is an article manager, what is a menu manager, how extensions are deployed in Joomla, how plugins are deployed in Joomla. Then what we will do it is, once we are done with this, then we will quickly install an editor, a JC editor, which is something helps you to format your contents or the web pages that you will deploy on your website. It's a very handy tool, easy to use, and you will very quickly learn it, just as I've learned it. Then we'll understand how an article is created and published. I will show you an end-to-end process flow, how to go about creating an article, attaching it to a menu, and then how to format an article, and finally publish it so that people can view it on the website or on the front end. We'll move on to understanding the category manager and different concepts around categories, then a number of concepts around menus. So in other words, we are covering every aspect of the Joomla content management system. We're still not over, so there are still a number of things. So then we'll understand all about articles, how articles are created, how they are formatted, how to attach pictures or maybe videos, and finally attaching web links on article and publishing them. And we'll understand a number of other things related to articles, like what are featured articles, how to attach an article to a menu, then finally how to test or view a newly created and published article on the website. Once we are done with that, we will have a basic understanding of how the Joomla works. The next thing is slightly advanced, not very advanced, just slightly advanced, which is what is extensions. Extensions, we'll understand the concept of extensions, which forms the basic building blocks of a Joomla website. So we need to understand that they are the pillars of the entire website on which a website stands. Then we'll finally understand the users, the way the users are managed, how a new user is created, how to update or delete a user, how to control access to users, and security around users, how to prevent users from getting hacked. So We'll cover all this. That's what will actually form the module 1 of this class, which is, I would say, we'll start with a very beginner level and we will move on gradually to an intermediate level, or to say maybe slightly advanced level, wherein you would know how a Joomla CMS works, and you will be kind of ready by this end of this module 1 to just practice. You'll be dying for doing something practical. That's where I want to show you a real life practical experience you will have using a website that we will develop. As I said before, we'll be using the entire software development lifecycle to start with planning the website, gathering the requirements, how it happens with companies and real life scenarios. We will understand how the requirements are detailed, shortlisted, then taken a sign off from the client, and once the client signs it off, then how to go about building those websites, which includes a number of customizations that client might also request you. Maybe the template comes in a standard way. After deploying it, standard template, maybe you need to tweak it around and do some custom things to give it what a client wants. So we will understand everything around building that website and giving it a professional look. The most important thing, we'll also understand ways of making an e-commerce website. We'll build a site security to prevent hackers. We'll discuss ways to prevent a website from getting hacked, or if it gets hacked, then how to go about restoring a hacked website from a backup. So once we build a website, obviously then everything that you build it, before you show it to everyone, before you deploy it and everyone else from external world can access it, you need to test it. Or if it's a small website, maybe your personal website, then it's you are only client, you are only developer, so you are the one who will develop it, you are the one who test it. But if it's a professional website, then you will act like a developer, but the client is the one who will actually do a testing. But again, in real life scenarios, what happens is the testing has of two types: a development testing and then a user acceptance testing. So we will discuss both aspects of testing. Finally, we'll go live. Going live means we will deploy the website or host our website onto the live external servers, the worldwide web servers. Okay, as soon as we deploy it, our website will be viewable to the entire world. Anyone can access it. Excuse me. We'll discuss how to create the users for internal client users. We'll also discuss how external people can create their users, how to make different user groups. We will also understand how to make email addresses using a website domain. And the most important is, we will understand how to take a backup of a website, assuming that if the website get hacked, then the backup is the one which comes handy there, and it can be used to restore a website. Then we'll also understand a number of things that Google has brought in, like Google Captcha, which prevents hackers or bots or a number of other advantages it offers. We will see how Google AdSense can be used in our website to display ads from Google and generate money out of it. We will also discuss how to deploy Google Analytics on our website so that one can go to website and analyze as to how many users are accessing the website on a particular day, what are the geographies of those users, where all they are located, what are the genders of my users, and so on and on. So that's where Google Analytics comes very handy. So we'll discuss the ways to deploy Google Analytics on your website and how to effectively use Google Analytics. Finally, we'll see how a post go live support is given on to a client, wherein we'll discuss the ways to resolve a website issues. We will discuss how to go about doing post go live backups and incremental backups of a professional website. Then we'll also learn how to restore client websites using incremental backups. Then we will understand how to disable or uninstall components, modules, or plugins. Again, what you see on the screen is a summary of the things that we are going to cover for as long as the professional business website that we will develop. There will be a number of things, number of discussions that will go in that, and I will be giving you an extremely good example to get you hands on. And by the time you complete this, I'm pretty sure that although you won't become a Joomla pro on that, but at least you will have an extremely good knowledge of Joomla. You could take up projects yourself, or maybe you could develop your own website. So with that, I would like to proceed ahead, and let's take up this challenge of understanding how Joomla could be used to develop and maintain professional websites, and how millions of users are using it on their daily lives. Alright, so with this was just an introduction about the course and a bit about myself and how we are gonna proceed ahead. So in the next class, we'll start with module 1 to understand the concept of Joomla, and that's where we'll also understand how to install a Joomla on your personal laptop or a personal computer, and then gradually start learning more about Joomla. So with that said, I would say good luck to everyone who have participated so far, and I hope to see you in the next class. And thank you very much for joining. Have a great day ahead, and this is your instructor Kabeer Khan signing off now. Thank you very much again. Goodbye.